Hello, my name is Kirioth, and these might be my new favourite infantry models from Games Workshop. So yesterday, just after we uploaded, funnily enough, Games Workshop released a new article on the Warhammer community site, because that's what they do. They wait for me to upload and then they put something else out. I'm just used to it now. It's not really aimed at me, but it just seems to be, no matter how I try and time stuff, that's always the way it goes down, no matter what I do. But this one, I wanted us to take a quick look at, because there is something about these models, and I don't know whether it's just me suddenly like, just reaching a point of really wanting to paint stuff that actually looks kind of difficult, or whether these are actually as good as they look. So these are the Easterling Black Dragons, and I absolutely love these. Being Lord of the Rings miniatures, if you look at things like the hands, everything is pretty much in proportion. They're a lot more well proportioned than a lot of, say, like the human stuff in 40k or Age of Sigmar, for instance, where you tend to have like slightly larger hands, kind of the waist is not quite the right sort of size. It's all stuff that we're used to and all stuff that doesn't really bother me, but when I see models like this that are that much more realistically proportioned, it kind of jumps out at me as to just how much better proportioned they are. Something about these has absolutely got me going though, because there's something about like the different mixture of textures and like the different symbols, the fact that they are quite ornamented and there's a fair bit going on, but they don't feel like massively overly busy. I think there's a really nice balance that they've managed to strike with these models, where you have a lot of different textures going on. So you've got like the kind of dragon scale armor on the front of the legs and the chest. The belt has got a totally different kind of style to that, in that you've got these kind of squares and that sort of triangle shape with the circles inside that almost look like studs. You've got leather straps attaching them all to fabric clothes. The fact that you've got a really weird but kind of interesting helmet going on with cloth running down from the back of it as well, and the cloth of the clothes itself. There's loads of textures on the actual body of the miniature. But then the shields have got like a different feel and texture to them as well. The pattern on the shields, a kind of embossed bit, and the kind of just the raised sections have their own kind of style compared to the rest of the model. But they don't feel incoherent. They don't feel as though they don't go together well. Everything matches up really nicely. There's enough like repeated shapes that it brings them all together into one really just satisfying little miniature. I really do feel like this is a situation where they've managed to make something that I just like every single part of them. There's no part of this that I would change. There's no part of this that stands out as feeling wrong or weird. There's a really nice different mix of materials and stuff going on that make them look like they'd be an absolute blast to paint. And I can imagine once you've got enough of them on the table, you would actually have a really nice, like, just a really nice visually stunning force when they're all painted up. I mean, it helps, of course, that actually they've been painted really quite well for the pictures, but I mean, look at the little details. It all just comes together so nicely. This is one of those rare situations where I just can't find anything that I'm not a fan of. I mean, when it came to like the new Stormcast Eternals, for instance, which I know a different system, different world and all, but overall the redesign for those I absolutely loved. The only downside is that I've never been a massive fan of the Stormcast helmets, and so I'd always want to substitute that for something else. There's plenty of models that Games Workshop have done that have been nearly perfect, but there's just been one or two things that have maybe stuck out as being not quite my taste. For the most part, I really like what Games Workshop puts out, but it's very rare that I actually see a model that is perfect, that there's no part of it that I don't like. This is one of those situations. There is no part of these models that I don't like. They've done that rare thing of seeing them and just immediately wanting to paint them, even though I don't need them. I have no use for these. I don't play the Lord of the Rings game, but there is something about these and something about the way they've been presented that they just absolutely are ticking the box of I want to paint them. I want to sit there and go over every little detail in like a properly sort of exhaustive like intensity, I guess, and make sure that everything is just right, because they're just super, super well done. I think they actually are my new favourite bit of infantry that Games Workshop have done. There is no part of them that I don't like. There's no part that sticks out as looking like it might need changing. There's just a lot going on, but in the perfect amount, and I just can't get enough, to be honest. But that's just what I reckon. What do you think of these lads? Have they jumped out at you at all, or am I just like, is this just like a me thing where I've just picked up on something for apparently no reason? Let me know what you think in the comments down below. In the meantime, feel free to click all the things, Patreon, video, subscribe, all that stuff. Click it if you like, don't click it if you don't want to. And as always, there's an affiliate link in the description for Element Games, which you can use to support the channel if you would like. There's also an affiliate link for Noble Knight Games if you're in the US. I leave it in your capable hands. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.